जय हिंद एंड वेलकम टू फौजिया क्लासेज। आज हमारे साथ एक यूथ एंड इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर और अभी वो एक एमएनसी में काम भी करते हैं। इंडियन एयरफोर्स के प्रति उनका बहुत ही लगाव है। नॉट ओनली इंडियन एयरफोर्स बल्कि इंडियन आर्म्ड फोर्सेज के प्रति उनका बहुत ही ज़्यादा अट्रैक्शन है और वह आर्म्ड फोर्सेज ज्वाइन करना भी चाहते हैं। ही इज़ प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर दैट। कई सारे एग्जाम्स भी उन्होंने क्लियर किए हैं, कई सारे एसएसबीज भी उन्होंने दिए हैं। तो आर्म्ड फोर्सेज के प्रति यूथ्स के मन में जो जिज्ञासा रहती है, उसी जिज्ञासा को लेकर के आज वो हमारे पास आए हुए हैं। इनका नाम है आशुतोष त्रिपाठी। ये आज जो डाउट्स हैं हमसे क्वेश्चन के माध्यम से पूछेंगे और उसका हम जवाब देंगे। इनके माध्यम से जो हमारा जवाब होगा वो सारे यूथ्स के अंदर जो जिज्ञासा होगी शायद उसको भी सॉल्व करे। तो बताइए आपका पहला सवाल क्या है?
सबसे पहले थैंक यू सो मच इस अपॉर्चुनिटी के लिए।
ओके, वेलकम।
तो सबसे पहला सवाल तो हम सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज से स्टार्ट करेंगे। वो ये जो अभी हमारी भारतीय वायुसेना ने इतना बड़ा ऑपरेशन किया, ऑपरेशन सिंदूर, तो मुझे वहां से स्टार्ट करना है। तो वहां पे जो हमने इतनी सारी न्यूज देखी थी कि इंडियन पायलट्स ने इतनी जाबाजी से एनिमी की टेरिटरी में घुस के वहां पे अटैक किया और उनके ड्रोन्स को डिस्ट्रॉय किया, उनके एयरक्राफ्ट्स को, उनके बंकर्स को डिस्ट्रॉय किया। तो वहां की एयरफोर्स ने और वहां के जो डिफेंस फोर्स थे उन्होंने रिटेलिएशन क्या किया उसके बारे में से स्टार्ट।
वेरी गुड। आप जानते हैं उस ऑपरेशन के थोड़े दिन बाद ही जो वर्ल्ड की एयरफोर्स की रैंकिंग आई है, उस रैंकिंग में इंडियन एयरफोर्स हैव बीन प्लेस्ड एट द 3rd प्लेस इन द वर्ल्ड टॉप रैंकिंग। जो ये विदेशी एजेंसियां रैंकिंग देती हैं वो भारत को पसंद करके रैंकिंग नहीं देती हैं। दे वर कंपेल्ड टू गिव द रैंकिंग आफ्टर सीइंग द प्रिसीजन स्ट्राइक मेड बाय द फाइटर पायलट्स एंड द एयरक्राफ्ट्स ऑफ द इंडियन एयरफोर्स। आपको मैं बता रहा हूं, आप सोचिए कि यह स्ट्राइक भारत ने कोई इंटरनेशनल बॉर्डर पर नहीं किया, एलओसी पर नहीं किया। वी वेंट डीप डाउन इनसाइड द पाकिस्तान और हमने पाकिस्तान ऑक्युपाइड कश्मीर के अंदर घुस करके उनके टेरर टारगेट्स को डैमेज किया। और लेकिन उसके साथ में आपने ये कोई न्यूज नहीं सुना होगा कि उसके साथ किसी एक सिविलियन की कैजुअलिटी हुई है।
राइट।
इसमें इंडियन एयरफोर्स के पायलट्स और हमारे इक्विपमेंट्स के साथ साथ हमारी जो इंटेलिजेंस है उसका भी कंट्रीब्यूशन है। हमारे पास इंटेलिजेंस और कोऑर्डिनेट कितने सही थे, हमारी सैटेलाइट इमेज कितनी सही थी कि हमने अगर एक मदरसे के गुंबद को मारा, आपने फोटो देखा होगा, तो उस गुंबद को डैमेज करते हुए हमारा बम नीचे जाके ब्लास्ट हुआ, अगल बगल की बिल्डिंग तक नहीं ब्लास्ट। और उसके बाद अभी मैं थोड़े दिन पहले एक्स एयरफोर्स चीफ एयर चीफ मार्शल धनोआ साहब का एक इंटरव्यू सुन रहा था। बहुत सारी चीजें क्लासिफाइड रहती तो उन्होंने रिवील नहीं किया, बट जो रिवील किया कि हमने इतनी तक प्लानिंग की कि हमारा जो स्पाइस बम है उसका फ्यूज कितने मिली सेकेंड बाद ऑपरेट करे। क्यों? अगर फ्यूज पहले ऑपरेट हो जाएगा तो बिल्डिंग के स्ट्रक्चर को टच करते ही डैमेज हो जाएगा। But we want that it should go deep inside, it should penetrate to the building, it should go to the bottommost floor of the building. So we have set the fuse for some 10 millisecond or 12 millisecond. We have set the delay in the fuse so that it will penetrate first, then blast again.
That much precise.
That much precision strikes we had made, and you just imagine how much brain consumes in planning all these things. Our top leadership, military leadership, not the political leadership, the top military leadership of the Indian Armed Forces have done a lot of exercise, and they have not done in the 1 month. We keep on doing. When I was in the Air Force, I know that what we used to do in the night. Indian Air Force used to do this exercise all the 12 months and every month and all the days. This is our part of life, so that when it is required, we do not need much planning. So that much precision strike Indian Air Force has made. आपने एक और चीज देखा होगा, नूर खान एयरबेस, which is considered to be a nuclear site of the Pakistan Air Force, as well as it is a storage facilities of the American Air Force. American Air Force keeps its raw nuclear fuel at the Noor Khan Air Base.
Right.
The maximum facility of the Noor Khan Air Base have been established and being maintained by the GE company of General Electric Company of United States. The GE company supports in establishing the infrastructure at the Noor Khan Air Base. Please tell me, what was the reason once the Noor Khan Air Base was stuck and the Pakistan was on its knees immediately? And why just after 3 to 4 hours the American Air Force nuclear warplane landed in the Pakistan? What was the reason? Definitely it has landed just to check is there any nuclear seepage, nuclear leakage, or is there any nuclear radiation break
or not.
But you will appreciate how the Indian Air Force BrahMos has hit that Noor Khan Air Base, because that Noor Khan Air Base where the nuclear facilities is there, it is inside some sort of mountain.
Right.
Breaking that mountain is not easy. It is not impossible, but not easy. You need some other type of facilities, or the missile power, or some other type of weapon to hit that target. But because it is totally some 8 to 10 feet concrete wall.
Right.
What the Indian Air Force has done, there was a 1.5 into 1.5 each feet vent.
Okay.
AC duct.
AC duct.
That AC duct was there. Can you imagine? And I am sure it has not happened in the past with any Air Force in the world, that our BrahMos inserted went inside through this 1.5 square feet duct, and it has hit inside the gate of that nuclear facility. How you, it is next to impossible in the imagination also.
Right, exactly.
By making a target at a 200 kilometer away, you are just releasing your weapon and it is hitting at the target 200 kilometer away, and in the hole of 1.5 square feet, you are hitting in that hole.
That's very hard to imagine.
That Indian Air Force has immersed in this Operation Sindoor. Actually, being a part of Indian Air Force, I have also not expected this much accuracy. Frankly speaking, I have expected the bravery, but I have not expected this much accuracy. Because during practice flying, I used to see that many times pilots' target used to get away from their original places. I have seen that scenario. But what has happened in Operation Sindoor, that shown the precision, calculation, quite dedication, and the total satisfactory work by the Indian Air Force pilots and its team. Not only that, when the Indian Air Force S-400 has destroyed their AWACS, you might be aware about the AWACS. AWACS means the radar in the air. Because the ground radar picks up when enemy aircraft is coming. But if your AWACS is flying at the border, when the enemy aircraft gets started, its radar is just switch on. That time itself it will pick up. Right. And it can send message to its base that some aircraft is getting airborne. Okay. So it is a early warning radar system. It is called AWACS. Aircraft early warning system itself, its name itself there. Their AWACS has been hit by the S-400, and that person has got the gallantry award after the retirement, Sergeant Bhale Singh, who was maintaining S-400. Even after, there was a malfunction in its launcher facilities, and all the officers told that you leave this S-400. He told that because if you are putting on the light for the servicing and for maintenance, drone are coming, they will attack to the light point. Right. He just covered his head with the bed sheet, and inside the mobile light, he just maintained and rectified the launcher, and from same rectified S-400, which had become unsuccessful just half an hour away. That AWACS of the Pakistan was hit from 304 kilometers away, making a world record of the longest kill by one ground-to-air missile.
Wow.
And that Sant Bhale Singh retired on 30th June, but he was given the President Medal Gallantry Award, Vaisena Medal after his retirement, and he was called to the President House. He lives in the Jaipur, Rajasthan.
Wow.
That is the dedication Indian Air Force has shown. And now your question was that what the Pakistan Air Force was doing. See, you just go back in 2019 when the Balakot strike has been done. Was Pakistan not aware that once India has told that we will take the revenge of, we will punish the people, India will come? Pakistan was aware. What has happened when our two groups or two packets of the aircraft entered inside the Pakistan? Their aircraft could not airborne. At least you should try to that counteract our aircraft. And in the doctrine of the Pakistan Air Force itself, it is written, our primary motto of that means they write, the primary motto of the Pakistan Air Force is to be defensive, not offensive.
Right.
That means their primary motto is to protect their airfield from the enemy attack. And enemy is India, on India only, and they could not do that primary work. At least your ORP, that means the emergency aircraft on the operational readiness platform, might be available.
Right.
What were they doing? At least your people were might be available on the radar screen. What they were doing? Definitely, all was there. But this is the beauty and the clever activity of the Indian Air Force, that we just bluffed them and we entered from such a path where their radar did not pick up. Actually, in the modern warfare, that is the only technology you need to develop and adopt, where you can fool enemy's radar. Because if you are passing through the radar, you will be visible, and once you are visible, you have to counteract the aircraft. But you have to choose such a way, you have to choose such a path, such a gap where the radar coverage is not there, either by destroying in the deep war, we just destroy the radar first.
Right.
Before entering to the enemy, we destroy the radar first. We did in the Operation Sindoor also. We destroyed many their Pakistani radars. If you destroy the radar first, then that gap and patch opens, and now you enter in the next detail. That happens. One go of the aircraft will go and destroy their radar. This happens in all the wars. This happens in all the wars. And the next go, they will go and make this strike. So this was the Indian Air Force operational capability. They have just fooled their radar, they bluffed their radar, they packed their radar, they blinded their radar, and made a passes to enter their aeroplanes and make a strike.
Wow.
I remember when I was in the Air Force, when we were doing the ORP in the MiG-21, as well as many times I did ORP in the Mirage also. When I became senior, I was many times I became the in charge of the ORP team at the ORP platform. When I was doing ORP in the Srinagar, even if the aircraft is 50 kilometer or 100 kilometer away in the Pakistan, it is taking off, and by mistake, if it is taking some more turn towards the India, our that ORP alarm, or you can say that siren used to that ring, and we used to get ready.
Okay.
Or pilot used to run, then we used to get the aircraft airborne. Let it be in the air, the pilot used to watch what is their activity, and they used to come back.
Okay.
But it has never happened in my whole entire career that Pakistani aircraft used to allowed to come inside the Indian territory.
Never.
And once it had happened, and it was killed. That was Atlanta. Pakistani Navy aircraft entered inside the Nalia Air Base towards the Nalia, and the MiG-21 C2A24, I still remember. C-2824 and one more aircraft. They both airborne from the Nalia. That aircraft belongs to the Jodhpur, but they were doing detachment at the Nalia. It was airborne from the Nalia, and when both the pilots went in the air, the pilot asked for some code and all. They did not respond well. Suppose, as per the international law, if you by mistake you have entered inside some prohibited air territory, there are certain rules. That means if your RT is failed, you should take out your undercarriage. If your RT is failed, by mistake you want to land, there is some rule. In front of ATC, you have to hover your aircraft. You have to wave your aircraft. You have to wave your radar and all. So that you want to make a signal that I am in some sort of emergency. You will be allowed to land. But even after that RT was okay, and the pilot was giving message on IFF. IFF matlab identification friend or foe. There are some international frequency. At that frequency, each aircraft can talk. So pilot was talking on IFF, but he was not responding. And that pilot, at last, that Atlanta locked to the 1 hour of our second pilot in second MiG-21. Without giving the time, the Squadron Bundela, who was flying in C-2824, just launched the missile and killed that aircraft. What has happened? After hitting that aircraft, the half portion was just dropped inside the Indian territory and half portion was in the Pakistan territory. Ultimately, some Mi-26 went and just picked that Malabar and kept inside the Indian territory. There was a big news. The international emergency has happened. Though Squadron Bundela was questioned, I think there was some court of inquiry was ordered, because without getting permission from the ground, he has just shut down the Atlanta. He explained the situation that I did not have a few seconds to talk and get permission to shoot down, because I saw in my radar that that second aircraft was locked by the Atlanta. Right. So if I have not fired, my co-pilot would have gone. Ultimately, in the sad demise in one of the crash, Squadron Bundela was just martyred in the Jodhpur. His ejection seat fired, but his canopy was not fired. So whole spine was broken, and he just martyred he was in coma for more than 8-9 months in the military hospital, and he expired. So that has happened. So that is our capability. But even after one incident, your Pakistan capability is not there. They know that India will come, but you could not counteract. And 2-3 days once you counteract, or Sukhoi package were in the air, they tried to came, but by seeing the Sukhoi, they just went back. In that conflict, Abhinandan went. Okay. And Abhinandan crossed that boundary, our border, and that his RT was not getting corrected. So that was mishappening. Though Abhinandan fired and just ejected inside the Pakistan territory. Right. So this shows the bravery, high degree of skill, high degree of dedication, no doubt high degree of patriotism, and the word precision needs definition that suits to the Indian Air Force. It has been proved in the Operation Sindoor.
Wow. With that level of precision we have in in our missiles.
Now you can imagine, you are an aspirant of Indian Air Force or Armed Forces. One pilot, what is his mindset, and what is the sharpness, what is the thinking level, what is the thought process should be in the fraction of seconds. And once you go to the top leadership, what type of planning, my dear, you have to make. See, before making any strike, how many aspects you need to discuss? You need to discuss plan A, plan B, plan C. Because in a war or in a war-like scenario, you have to think how your enemy is thinking, my dear. If you are failed to think like your enemy, you will be failed in your mission. Right. Because you have to think what enemy might be thinking. So once you know that what enemy might be thinking, so you know the contraction of that. Right. You just think in a layman language. You are going for attack. That's all. We go and attack. That's all. No. after doing the attack, what are the chances? During attack, you may counteract. During attack, your aircraft may hit. During attack, your aircraft may crash. You have to make and you have to keep the plan ready for all these contingencies. If your plan is not ready, you do not have fraction of seconds to rethink and do.
Right.
And those plan is to be done in some meticulous manner that there is no communication gap. Something has happened, the next team is ready to respond without any other command and waiting confirmations. So once you attack, suppose you make hit the military camps in the Pakistan, what will happen? Pakistan will react. So its reaction may be starting from Kutch to Kashmir.
Right.
And you have some other enemies like China. You have some other enemies in the siege also.
Yeah, exactly.
This might be that your enemy might be trying to intrude from some other side.
Right.
Leave that. If your enemy is coming from the front also, you have to think in so many ways. So that much level of planning. You do not think that Air Chief Marshal or that Lieutenant Generals who are giving lecture in Operation Sindoor, they are not just a layman. Deep down planning, and they keep on planning like this. Continuously, some think tank is always they are thinking like this. Then only you can achieve your goal. In Operation Sindoor, Indian Air Force has also shown, we'll come on that topic also, instead of shortage of our aircraft, instead of shortage of our pilots also, we did not weep on that topic. Whatever resources we had, suppose we had Rafale in this Operation Sindoor, but we did not have Rafale in Balakot.
Right.
And we make the strike with the help of Mirage.
Yes.
Our capability has increased. But if after Balakot, some sort of mini war or full scale war would have happened, our team was ready with the same MiG-21.
Right.
Because that time that was aircraft with us. So we are not going to weep that we do not have weapon. What weapon we have, we will fight with that. That is our capability. Nowadays everybody keeps on talking 5th generation, 4.5 generation, 3rd generation and all. These all matters in some extent, but not in all extent. If you have 5th generation fighter, I can fool your radar, you are blind.
Exactly.
I can fail your communication, you are blind. Let it be 5th generation fighter.
Exactly.
So that happens. If I have a 5th generation fighter, if I can shoot with my S-400 from 300 kilometers away, your 5th generation is nothing but it is okay.
What is the use of your 5th
generation? That has happened. Pakistan have the F-16.
Yeah, right.
Pakistan had the F-16. It was killed by one MiG-21. So America was just angry on Pakistan only on that matter. Why the F-16 was just saved by the MiG-21?
Right.
Being a Russian origin aircraft, that is the 3rd generation aircraft 1960 made. So that is the beauty. Now what is your next question?
So extending to your last point, our fighter jets.
Mm-hmm.
So we have seen that India has recently, made a deal for 114 Rafale. So I would like to know about that.
Yes, definitely. When the Rafale was about to come, many controversy came in the India. Even though some political comments were made, even though some people went to the Supreme Court also, and the Supreme Court asked clarification from the Indian Air Force, our Vice Chief of Air Staff went and gave clarification in the Supreme Court. See, the layman and the general public cannot understand the difference between one aircraft and the fighter aircraft ready to use.
Okay.
See, there is a basic difference between the operational capability of one aircraft and one normal aeroplane. The purpose of normal aeroplane is to take off and land.
Yeah.
Let it be passenger and let not be passenger. That's all. But purpose of fighter aircraft is not just to take off and land. Though we have a Tejas, we made the Tejas. But if the Tejas is not equipped with the missile, radar, sensors, communication system, jammers, will it be used as a fighter? No. It will be used as a trainer aircraft.
Right.
So, if you purchase a Rafale, which is airworthy, but not war worthy. Will the cost not be differ? Yes, cost will differ, because once one Rafale equipped with the 4 missiles, equipped with the 1 laser guided bomb, equipped with the some jammer, equipped with the some high tech radars, equipped with some high sensors and all, it will cost more, because these electronic surveillance equipments have much more cost than the cost of the aircraft.
Right.
So political people, they did not understand. They used to comment that our government has made a deal in this much. Now this government is making a deal this much. You please understand, your government has made a deal for the raw aircraft and for the platform, not the aircraft which is war worthy. But the presently and the recent past, the all 36 Rafale aircraft were purchased. They were airworthy, flying worthy, and war worthy.
Right.
You can use next day in the war, and it has been used also.
Yeah.
So that was the basic difference. So now your question is that India has made a big deal on the 114 Rafale aircraft. See, India is a country where the war scenario is quite different from the war scenario from all other countries. Like, our geographical scenario is quite different with the geographical scenario of many other countries. Like, we have to fly in the hill,
Yeah.
we have to fly in the snow, we have to fly in the Registan, we have to fly in the sea, we have to fly in the many such places. Same pilot, same aircraft has to be accustomed with the different situations.
Right.
So before purchasing any fighter aircraft or any such equipment, I'll not say the only aircraft, its testing should be done with the respect of many other points.
Right.
And if you are going for any such aircraft, at least your deal should be supportive at least for next 30 years.
Exactly.
Today you have a good relation with any government body of some other country. Now that government is telling, I'll give you some aircraft on 10% concession, very good. Now from economic point of view, it's a very good decision. But you know the vulnerability of that government, and you know that political structure of the government and of that country. You know that as good as this government goes down, this deal will be in the hands of some other group. So you have to think at this broad perspective. If this deal goes to some other groups, the production, the procurement, the supply can be affected.
Can be affected, right?
So before taking the decision, you have to think in such a broad way. I'll give one example. Your Tejas and AMCA is being equipped by the G engine. You know, G engine being supplied by America. You know, since this much years, how many G engines have been supplied to the India? Because this is a total political and a geopolitical game. If India is able to make a fighter aircraft, the deal of that Europe countries and the production of the fighter aircraft Europe and as good as US itself, it will be affected.
Exactly.
Because India will make in a low cost, India will sell in some poor countries. So why US wants that will try to give the supply of G engine to the India, and they are not doing. They are not supplying.
Okay.
Their supply of G engine of at least 18 G engines per year, I think they are supplying 2 or 3 per year. Like this, some figure is there.
Okay.
So why US will try to give a G engine so that you can make your own aircraft?
Right.
So before making the deal in the field of defense, and especially in the field of arms and ammunitions, many broad perspectives, and that is to be think in a very, very deeper way. And I'll give you example. India purchased in the bulk 450 MiG-21 from the Soviet Union. What has happened? Once the Soviet Union was dissoluted in the separate countries, many countries separated. And once the Soviet Union was united, some parts are being made here, some parts are being made here, but there was no problem of the supply chain.
Right.
But once the Soviet Union was just broken into pieces, what happened? Ukraine was separated, other countries were separated. There was a problem in the supply chain. because you had a relation with this country, you had not a relation with this country.
Right.
Still, the trainer of the MiG-21 was the engine of the trainer, along with the MiG-21 was being used. It was from Ukraine, and that country was in the war. Definitely, the supply would have been affected. The AN-32 aircraft, the maximum its factory is in Ukraine. So you can understand the arms deal and aircraft deal is totally dependent on the so many geopolitical factors. Sometimes you have to purchase some arms, some ammunition to a country from where you want to make a good relation.
Okay.
All the surveillance equipments, laser equipments, they are from Israel. They are very costly also. Sometimes you have to purchase some equipment with that country so that you are having a good relation with that country.
Yeah.
So many geopolitical circumstances are there, factors are there, which are required to be considered in the factor. So Rafale was tested, Rafale was used, though being a 4.5 generation fighter, since it has been tested in the Indian scenario, Indian situation, Indian territory, Indian boundary, and with the Indian pilot. So it was being considered to purchase one more deal of make a more deal of Rafale. So Indian Air Force went for this 114 aircraft.
Okay.
In place of that, many good fighters are available in the market, like F-22 Raptor, F-35 and all with the US.
F-35.
But India is scared totally about making any aircraft deal with the America, seeing its behavior in the geopolitical nature. Today you can purchase the aircraft, you make a payment, but the supply will be delayed, purposely delayed, and you have a war coming with the Pakistan and China
Anytime.
And Pakistan is just sitting in the lap of the Donald Trump.
Yeah.
At his one signal, that factory will stop the supply.
Right.
And I had a news that some our Apache helicopter were coming through Turkey, and in the Turkey airport it was some hanged or some blocked, some movement was blocked to delay the supply of the Apache helicopter and all. So this type of situation has come. You cannot believe, because you are making deal to that factory through its government. Government can give a signal to delay the supply. What will happen? So you have to think in this way. So going, and we had a good relation with the France. We are flying its Mirage since last 30 more than 30 years. So we had a good relation with France. Going with the Rafale, it is a very good decision. I am very happy. And I am not happy only with the Rafale point of view. I am happy with the point of view of that, because we are having the shortage of the aircraft. So immediately we need the supply.
Okay.
So at least how much we get, I don't know in what span of time they will supply. So that is a sigh of relief for the Indian Air Force, because as per the perspective of the Air Chief Marshal S.P. Dhanewa, he expected that at least we should have 42 squadrons to cater the war from two ends, that is Pakistan and China. Presently we are having less than 30 or near around 30, and in that also Jaguar is going to retire in a few years.
Yeah.
So to fill that gap, though we will fill this gap with the Tejas and AMCA and all, to fill that gap, immediate requirement of this 114 Rafale aircraft, it is a very good decision, and I am very happy with that.
Okay. So extending to this question, we are now also hearing about our new aircraft, that is Sukhoi Su-57. So what are your views on this?
See,
and what its performance as compared to Rafale?
See, I am not convinced with the Sukhoi 30 itself, which was purchased in the India.
Okay.
Because Sukhoi 30 being a twin engine fighter aircraft, its size is larger.
Okay.
It is having a big larger size. Though for filling a gap of that aircraft which we not have, we have purchased the Sukhoi 30, but mistake which India did, we purchased Sukhoi 30 in a lot.
Yeah.
Many Sukhoi 30 we purchased.
We have a lot.
Sukhoi 30 is not having that much good maneuverability with respect to all these fighters like F-series fighter, like Typhoon, like Eurofighter, like F-22, F-35 and all. Because it is having very huge size. If you see the Sukhoi 30 with all fighters, you will see that it is a big man, it is its bacha. So it is. I am not convinced with Sukhoi 30. It is having a big size engine, big size aircraft. Very easily it can be targeted. Very easily it can be detected in the radar, and also it has some demerits. Su-57 is a 5th generation fighter.
Yeah.
Its technology, its engine capacity is good. All the Russian aircraft is having good engine capacity. There is no doubt. But its technology also being upgraded. But till now, we have not gone in the process of testing of the Su-57. Until unless you do not test Su-57 for your requirement, you cannot go for the deal.
Right.
Few days back, I got a news somewhere in the media that we are in the process of consideration of somewhat deal with the Su-57.
Okay.
Very good. Some requirement being filled with the 114 Rafale aircraft. Next requirement being filled with the Su-57. So we'll be happy with Su-57 coming. But I need some aircraft which can contract or which can fulfill our ambition to contract like F-16, F-35, F-22. So we should go for such aircraft. That is my basic analysis.
Okay.
And Russia is our such a partner, we can rely on that. If we say, if Indian government say to the Vladimir Putin that we need some Sukhoi 57 in the flying worthy condition, I think Russia will give some Su-57 to the India. But see, what I told that we should think in the geopolitical scenario. Russia have Su-57, Russia have Su-30, but these aircraft could not perform well in the Ukraine war.
Okay.
Against the F-series aircraft supplied by the US.
US.
You have to think in this way also. That's why I told that it's a broad perspective before selecting aircraft.
Okay.
By Russia have the all Su-series aircraft, all the bigger aircraft, Su-series aircraft. But many Su-57 and Su-30s were shot down in the Ukraine.
Yes.
So there is some problem in the technology.
Right.
Either the technology of the enemy is higher than you, either you have some demerits.
Demerit.
So Su-50, not selecting the Su-57 by the Indian Air Force is a good decision for a little bit time. But if we take the time, rethink, redevelop our technology, align our technology with that one, I think Su-57 is a good deal.
Okay.
Yes.
So till now, Rafale is way more
Yes,
better in
yes.
performance in any way
Yes,
than
yes.
Sukhoi.
Rafale will be proved as a guardian of the sky, and I am sure. But this 114 aircraft will not be sufficient for all our requirements because we are going to lose our Jaguars in few years. We have retired our MiG-21 and all. Very few aircrafts. I think they are not flying. So we have to be in a line. So the supply will be supply should not be affected.
Okay.
We should select such aircraft so which is that supply is very fast.
Okay. Apart from this, we have also heard a few news in which they were saying that we have a little shortage of our pilots as well. So, we are now in a very critical scenario along our border. So, what Indian Air Force have planned with those shortage of pilots? How will they fulfill it?
This news of shortage of pilot is not only coming in this era. When we joined the armed forces, that time itself the news used to come. There are 18,000 officers are less in the armed forces, 5,000 pilots officers are less in the Air Force, 2,000 pilots are less in the Air Force. This news used to come in the 1998. Okay. There are many factors behind that. See, those aspirants who join the armed forces, they come from different background or different mindset. For you to get a uniform is the only the achievements. But for some person, to get a 4 lakhs rupees per month is the achievement. Many aspirants who join the armed forces, if they join the armed forces with the mindset that will have a glamorous life, glamorous money, so many times they get disappointed.
Okay.
Many army officers are there who are getting the salary, but they don't get the time to spend that money. You are posted in the Siachen or and all. You come on leave for 1 month, then you will go for the shopping.
To go back.
That's all.
Right.
The rest all 10 months you are getting salary on your account, but do not have time to the shop. So many times your passions or ambition breaks. And in nowadays, the corporate culture has come in the market.
Exactly.
You just listen that your one of the colleague is getting the 3 lakhs per month in your so and so, and you join the armed forces, you get the 1 lakhs per month. So you start thinking that I should have done that BTech plus MBA, so I should have joined that MNC. I should have, and he's posting his status that he's enjoying with his wife in the Ranikhet, and I am in the snow, I am in the squadron. So sometimes these social matters also affects the mindset of the people.
Okay.
No doubt, the situation remains adverse in the armed forces. There is no doubt in that. But people who are with the mindset that this is the different type of job culture, they can survive. By getting at the 4 o'clock is if somebody thinks it's a punishment, getting at 4 o'clock is somebody is having energy, he will enjoy. I'll get out at 4 o'clock, no problem. I'll go to the squadron, I'll fly.
Okay.
That maybe it's an ambition.
It's about the mindset.
It's about the mindset. And that mindset gets affected with the society. So I gave you some example.
Okay.
If you, many times, and these are the, not only stories, it has happened with the people. You come on leave for your marriage, you just, your marriage is ended, a second you have been recalled. These all happen. These are not stories. So what will happen? You will think that, क्या करेंगे ऐसी नौकरी करके ऐसे, एंड समटाइम्स कोई बात है, बुलाया गया ना, फिर काम हो जाएगा, छुट्टी, फिर वापस आएंगे. Many times you are boarding the train, you may be recalled. There are some sort of issues. It has happened with one of my friend, Ajnis was recalled from Mandora Expressway at Jodhpur railway station. So these are the service requirement of the armed forces. Like in your office, you are working in some MNC, there is a culture that everything dance, party and all. So defense have its own culture, and defense culture cannot overcome the defense requirement.
Right.
So defense requirement is to be fulfilled first, then culture comes.
Exactly.
So this is the mindset. And nowadays, when the relaxed mind people used to get increase in the society, so being a fighter pilot is the job of real mental bravery. So earlier, this was the job of only the brave people. Now, some people thinks that why I should give my life, why I should place my life in danger for getting this much money. Once I can get this money by doing some PhD and joining as a professor, I will get the 1.5 lakh rupee. Right. Why I will start my career and I will risk my life.
Right.
So you got the point. That is the only mindset. Earlier, what happened in the earlier era, 1970s, 80s, being a defense officer, joining military as an officer, joining Indian Air Force as a pilot, it was just a matter of pride. Now the people do not give that weightage to the pride. Now people give weightage to the money. And the quality of the life. So these both things are being compromised in the defense.
Right.
So you have to. मैं बार-बार पहले से कहता हूँ, और जनरल बिपिन रावत भी कहते थे, भाई मिलिट्री नौकरी नहीं है, it is a way of life. If you want to live that way of life, please come. Otherwise, there are jobs outside. Go.
Right.
है ना? So these are the